I didn't go looking for it. That's the part that keeps me up at night. It was a regular Saturday evening in Austin. The girls, Maddie and Liv, our 13-year-old twins, were out at a sleepover, the kind where you know they're just going to stay up eating gummy worms and whispering about whatever TikTok boy is viral this week. Amber, my wife of 15 years, was supposed to be at a tech summit in Chicago. She'd left Thursday morning, kissed me on the cheek like usual, wheeled her suitcase into a rideshare, and texted a picture from O'Hare before boarding. Or so she said. So there I was in an old gray hoodie with 2-day stubble, eating leftover pad thai and scrolling aimlessly through YouTube. Just one of those nights. I wasn't looking for trouble, I was just bored. One live stream thumbnail caught my eye. Something about it just felt over the top. Live from the Oasis Mansion, exclusive Hollywood nightlife. It had a red velvet carpet, glinting lights, and a swarm of bodies dancing under chandeliers that probably cost more than my car. One click and suddenly I was watching the kind of party people go viral just for getting rejected at the door. I almost closed the window, but then the camera moved. It was a handheld gimbal sh*T gliding through the crowd, and for a second it felt like being there, like I could hear the DJ's bass under my floorboards. The host was narrating something about how real LA parties go down, but I wasn't listening. Because then it happened. The sh*T panned past the VIP section and there she was. Amber. Not someone who looked like her. Not a maybe. Not a blurry silhouette. Amber. Same auburn hair, same profile I'd memorized over years of sleepy Sunday mornings. Same glint in her laugh. She was facing the camera, head tilted back mid-laugh, eyes locked on the guy beside her. Declan Rivera. I recognized him instantly. Former MLB outfielder turned podcast loudmouth. The kind of guy who built a second career talking about manifesting greatness while name-dropping champagne brands and promoting crypto scams. And there he was, Declan Rivera, with his arm around my wife's waist. He pulled her close and she didn't flinch. Didn't back away. Didn't do anything you'd expect from someone in a committed 15-year marriage. In fact, she leaned in, smiled, whispered something into his ear. I paused the stream. My thumb hovered over the spacebar as I stared at the screen, willing it to be something else. Maybe it wasn't her. Maybe it was a lookalike. I mean, people say that sometimes, right? That everyone has a doppelganger. So I rewound the footage. Watched again. Nope. That was her. That was Amber. She was supposed to be in a conference center in downtown Chicago listening to keynotes on cloud infrastructure. Not sipping from a coupe glass in LA, surrounded by people who hashtag their lives into curated lies. For a few seconds I couldn't move. Couldn't breathe. I backed the video up another minute. This time I slowed it down. Watched her body language. Her hand rested on Declan's chest casually. In * mately. Like she belonged there. The worst part wasn't even the touch, it was the look in her eyes. She looked free. Young. Alive in a way I hadn't seen in years. That look, it wasn't for me. When the camera moved on, my heart didn't. It just sat there, lodged in my throat like a swallowed stone. I stared at the screen long after her face disappeared from view, trying to convince myself there was another explanation. That I was jumping to conclusions. That maybe this was a prank, a deepfake, a coincidence. But none of those things could explain the way my stomach turned, the way every bone in my body suddenly went cold. I didn't know what to do. So I did what you do when you're on the edge of a cliff and praying you're wrong. I called her. She didn't pick up. No surprise. She'd mentioned earlier in the week that the summit would have spotty Wi-Fi. I remember now how she'd smiled when she said it, like it was just a minor inconvenience. Back then I believed her. Now that smile felt like a setup. I texted her, "Hey, how's Chicago? Girls are at their sleepover. Hope the conference is going well. Love you." Neutral. Non-accusatory. Testing the waters. 15 minutes later, she replied, "Going good. Super long day. Just got back to the hotel. About to crash. Love you too." That's when it hit me, not just the lie, but the casual precision of it. It was exactly the kind of message you send when you don't want someone to ask questions. Short. Sweet. Curtain closed. I stared at her text and thought about the silver dress. The way Declan touched her. The warmth in her face that I hadn't seen in a long time, not since before the pandemic, maybe even before that. It was like watching someone come alive, but not for me. A part of me wanted to call her back. Confront her. Shout. Demand the truth. But another part, the colder part, knew that if this was what it looked like, I couldn't unknow it. And if I was wrong, if by some absurd twist it wasn't her, then I just lit a match to something fragile for no reason. So instead I sat there, in the dark, with the glow of the paused video illuminating my face. And I watched, over and over, like a fool trying to find a frame where it made sense. Eventually, I called her again. This time she answered. "Hey babe," she said, voice light, casual. "Everything okay?" "Yeah, just couldn't sleep." I lied. "Oh, same. I'm exhausted though. I'm probably gonna pass out soon." "What time is it there?" "Like midnight." "Just past." A pause. I could hear hotel room silence behind her, or at least what she wanted me to hear. "Okay. Well, I'll talk to you tomorrow, alright? I miss you." And that's when I said it. "I saw you on a live stream." Silence. "What?" "You were at a party. In LA. Declan Rivera was there. You were standing next to him, laughing. Silver dress." Her inhale was sharp and short. "Then, that wasn't me." "Amber." "No, I swear. Josh, people tell me all the time I have a familiar face. Maybe someone else looked like me. I mean, come on. Declan Rivera? Come on. I know what I saw." More silence. "Josh, are you seriously accusing me of lying right now? While I'm here for work. Do you hear yourself? I just need you to tell me the truth." She didn't. Not then. Not later. That night I didn't sleep. I sat in the living room until the sun came up, listening to the silence of our house, the one we bought together. The one that still had her coffee mug in the sink and her scarf on the back of the dining chair. And I knew, deep down, no matter what she said in the morning, things had already shifted. I just didn't know yet how far they would fall. By Sunday morning. I had watched that stream so many times the clip felt like a punishment I'd sentenced myself to. I zoomed in, paused it, played it at half speed, like somehow in slow motion it might all make more sense. But it didn't. Every time, it was the same. Amber in that silver dress, eyes glowing, leaning into Declan like gravity itself was pulling her toward him. I started to think I'd imagined it, but then I'd replay it again, and there she was, my wife. Not in Chicago, not at a tech summit, but wrapped in the orbit of a retired athlete at a party she never should have been at. She didn't message me that morning. No good morning, no check-in, not even a quick emoji. And that alone wasn't proof of anything. Amber had always been independent, had her own way of doing things. But that day, the silence felt calculated. And that's when the replays started in my mind, not of the video, but of the last few months. All the times I'd pushed away my gut instincts. All the red flags I'd chosen not to see. Back in February, she went to a developer retreat in Denver. She'd been vague about the hotel name. Said the place was just outside town and had weird Wi-Fi. We barely spoke that weekend. Her texts were dry, her photos generic stock image level hotel lobby. An out-of-focus keynote slide. And now I realized there were no selfies, no pics with coworkers, no timestamps, just evidence planted carefully like breadcrumbs to throw off the trail. Same thing happened in April, when she claimed she had to fly to San Jose for a hackathon. That weekend, she said she'd lost her charger. We didn't FaceTime, barely talked. She came back tired, distant, wore a new scarf I'd never seen before and didn't explain where it came from. I thought I was overthinking things. Told myself she was just burnt out. I was wrong. There were also the calls. Or, more accurately, the calls that never happened. Before all this, Amber used to call me just to hear my voice. We'd laugh about dumb things. Office gossip, the girl's latest middle school drama, the neighbor's dog that wouldn't stop howling at 3 a.m. But lately, everything was text. And not even casual texts, structured ones. Businesslike. On break. Love you. Meeting starting, TTYL. Dinner with client. Always vague, always just enough to avoid suspicion, but never warm. Never real. And at home? God, at home, it was like she was slowly fading out of the picture. She used to bake with the girls on weekends, make a mess in the kitchen while they flung flour at each other and laughed like little lunatics. Lately, she'd become an expert in excuses. Next weekend, sweetie. I've got a deadline. Mommy's tired tonight. We'll do something soon. Okay? Soon became never. Even the twins noticed it. Maddie, always the sharper one, once asked, "Why does Mom look so bored when she's with us?" I told her she was just stressed from work. I told her she didn't mean it. But in my heart, I already knew. That distance wasn't just stress. It was detachment. She started missing school events, too. Parent-teacher nights, band performances, Liv's soccer games. The excuses stacked up. Late flights, last-minute meetings, migraines. Our anniversary dinner in May? She forgot. I reminded her the day before, and she made a joke about losing track of time. I made a reservation at her favorite Thai place anyway. She canceled an hour before, said she was stuck on a Zoom call. Ate alone. Told the server she was sick. Tipped extra so I wouldn't have to talk about it. Then there was her social media. She used to post family stuff all the time. Pictures of the girls making pancakes. Me asleep on the couch with a book on my chest. Selfies of the four of us in matching hoodies on lazy weekends. But around January, everything changed. Her Instagram went sterile, rebranded, she said. It's for my portfolio now. Got to keep it professional. The posts were all tech panels, #TS, artsy pictures of coffee and hotel lobbies. The girls vanished from her grid. So did I. That's when I started to see it wasn't randomness, it was strategy. Amber wasn't just slipping away. She was erasing us, piece by piece. I remember one night in March when she came home late. Said her flight got delayed. She was wearing heels I hadn't seen before, and her perfume was stronger than usual, sweet, floral, expensive. The kind she used to only wear for special occasions. When I asked how the trip went, she said, "Fine, long," then kissed me quickly and went to shower. That night, I laid awake listening to the water run. She stayed in there longer than usual, almost like she was washing something off. I think I knew then. I just didn't want to know. I think I was too scared to admit that the person I shared a bed with might already be halfway out the door. And maybe I didn't want to believe that after all these years, all the effort, the shared dreams, the hard parenting nights, the quiet victories. We weren't teammates anymore. We were strangers rehearsing a script, saying lines out of habit. Sunday evening, she texted. Back at airport. Flight delayed again. Love you. Tell the girls I'll be home late. I didn't respond. Not because I was angry, but because I didn't trust myself to say anything that wouldn't come out fractured. Instead, I sat in our bedroom, surrounded by photos she hadn't taken down yet. Family trips, holiday cards, the time the girls built a snowman in Dallas and Amber made them cocoa. I stared at those pictures, at her smile, wondering how long ago it became pretend. By midnight, I still couldn't sleep. I went downstairs and opened her laptop, not because I wanted to violate her privacy, but because I needed to stop wondering. Wondering was *ling me more than knowing ever could. She always used the same password. Our anniversary date. I typed it in. Her email was open. Most of it was work junk. Newsletters, product updates, a few messages to coworkers. But one folder stood out, flagged messages. That's where I saw it. A thread labeled Rivera, conference itinerary. My heart sank. I opened the thread. The first message was from Declan's assistant. Sent 3 weeks ago. Looking forward to seeing you at Oasis. Declan will handle all accommodations. Let me know if you have any dietary restrictions. There were more after that. Thank you notes. Flight confirmations. A line that made my stomach twist. Excited to finally meet in person. No mention of a tech summit. No mention of Chicago. Just Oasis. The mansion. The party. The lie. I didn't cry. Not yet. My body wouldn't let me. I just sat there, numb, staring at her words. My wife had flown across the country, lied to her husband and kids, to go to a party with a man I'd only ever seen on ESPN. And she thought she could get away with it. Or maybe she just didn't care if she got caught. Sunday morning, I woke up to the ping of a message from my buddy Trent. No greeting, just a link. Bro, you need to see this. I didn't want to click it. I already knew. Whatever it was, it wasn't good. My gut clenched before my finger even touched the screen. Still, I tapped. And there it was, a TikTok clip already pushing 500,000 views, stitched together from the same LA party stream I'd watched the night before. But this one was worse. It was edited, slowed down, zoomed in, overlaid with text and dramatic music. People online don't just watch pain anymore, they curate it. Frame by frame, my wife's betrayal was dissected like a crime scene. First, it was just Amber dancing. The video cut between her and Declan. The two of them spinning under strobe lights, her laugh caught on camera. Unguarded, giddy, youthful in a way I hadn't seen in years. Then the scene shifted. They were sitting now on a velvet couch in the corner of the VIP section. Declan had one hand resting casually on her leg. Amber leaned into him like they were sharing a secret. A second passed. Then two. Then she kissed him. Not a cheek brush. Not a friendly peck. A real kiss. Long, familiar. Like they'd done it before. My heart dropped into my stomach. What made it worse, what twisted the knife, was the backdrop. Behind them was a neon sign meant to be some kind of ironic joke. It read, Amber and Josh, married since 2010 ring. My name. On a sign. Like it was part of the set design. Underneath it, hanging on a string of decorative clothespins, was a fake timeline, a string of framed photos edited with comic book filters. Our wedding photo. The hospital picture of the twins. A Christmas card from 3 years ago where we were all in matching pajamas. Photos stolen from my life and turned into props. And then I saw it. A framed document pinned dead center under a spotlight. Our marriage certificate. I remembered when she asked for it. 2 weeks ago. She said she needed to scan it for a secure digital archive, something about our joint will and some new estate planning software her firm was using. I believed her. Of course I did. We'd been married 15 years. You believe someone when they say they're digitizing your history, not preparing to burn it for views. Because that's exactly what happened next. A party guest, some influencer type with oversized sunglasses and no shirt under his blazer, grabbed the frame, walked over to a nearby candle display and held the certificate above an open flame. People cheered. Someone shouted symbolic reset. Then it caught. The fire curled the corners of the paper, blackening the edge where our names were printed in bold serif font. Joshua Taylor and Amber Stanford. And Amber didn't stop him. She watched. She smiled. When the video ended, I just sat there, holding my phone like it might detonate. My ears were ringing. My chest was tight. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't throw the phone or punch the wall or do any of the things men are supposed to do in moments like this. I just sat. Because what do you even do when your entire marriage is reduced to viral content? When your wife turns your life into a punchline for strangers to react to? I read the comments. OMG, the audacity, loudly crying face. That man better lawyer up fast. Declan got a whole wife on camera, dude really doesn't miss. This is what soft launches look like in 2025, face with tears of joy. Every reply chipped away at me. Every laughing emoji felt like a slap in the face. I was no longer a person. I was content. A subplot in someone else's drama feed. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Notifications from people I hadn't spoken to in years. Old coworkers. A cousin from Idaho. My college roommate from freshman year. Even my boss texted me, hey man, saw the TikTok. Let me know if you need to take tomorrow off. Take the day off? I needed to take the year off. I scrolled through Facebook. Sure enough, someone had posted a screenshot *T in a private group Amber used to moderate. Captioned it, wow. This aged like milk. The post was from 2018, a photo of Amber and me at a gala, arms around each other, smiling like the world couldn't touch us. Suddenly I realized I couldn't let Maddie and Liv see this. I bolted up and ran to their bedrooms even though I knew they weren't home. Just the thought of them waking up Monday morning, phones buzzing, classmates pointing, it made my skin crawl. I texted both of them, hey girls, hope the sleepover's going great. Just a heads up, don't go on TikTok for a bit. I'll explain later. I love you. I stared at the message, hoping it would be enough. Knowing it wouldn't be. Then, finally, Amber called. Her name popped up like nothing had changed. No apology. No text. Just a FaceTime request, like this was something we could talk through casually. I let it ring. She called again. I answered. Her face appeared, no makeup, hair messy, dressed down in a hotel robe. Josh, she said, eyes wide, voice quiet. Can we just talk? Please. Just hear me out. Why? I asked. So you can tell me it wasn't what it looked like? Because I saw what it looked like. So did the rest of the world. It wasn't meant to happen like that. But it did happen. She rubbed her temples, looked away from the camera. I was drunk. It was a party. I didn't plan anything. Declan was just, he's charming, and things got out of hand. You burned our marriage certificate, I said flatly. That wasn't my idea. You didn't stop it. Silence. Then, I messed up. Yeah, I said. You did. More silence. I want to fix this, she whispered. I laughed. Not a happy laugh, a broken one. Fix this? Amber, you let a camera crew turn our life into a viral joke. Our daughters are going to see this. I don't even know what I'm supposed to tell them. She blinked. Her lower lip trembled. Josh, I still love you. No, I said, and this time my voice cracked. You loved being seen. You loved the way he looked at you. You loved the spotlight. But you didn't love me. Not really. Not anymore. She said nothing. So I ended the call. That night, I deleted every photo of us from my phone. Not out of spite. Just survival. The video was still spreading. And for the first time in 15 years, I realized something I never thought I'd have to think about. This wasn't just infidelity. This was abandonment broadcast in 1080p. Monday morning arrived like a punch. I hadn't slept. Not really. Just drifted in and out on the couch, phone clutched in my hand like some kind of shield, waiting for the next blow. I kept checking the video, watched the view count tick higher like a counter on a bomb. Over 2 million by sunrise. Dozens of reaction clips. Duets. Commentary. There were Reddit threads. Twitter takes. Someone even slowed down Amber's kiss with Declan and added voiceover like it was a nature documentary. They called it the Cheater Serenade. I kept telling myself it couldn't get worse. But I forgot something. Middle school. When Maddie and Liv came home from their sleepover Sunday night, I didn't tell them anything. I couldn't. What was I going to say? That their mom went viral for dancing with an ex-baseball player in a dress that cost more than our vacation budget? That the world knew before we did? I tried to act normal. Ordered pizza. Asked about the sleepover. Maddie said it was fun. Liv said someone threw up during karaoke. They laughed, talked over each other, completely oblivious. For that 1 hour, I had peace. It didn't last. Monday morning, 7:40 a.m., my phone rang. Caller ID, Westlake Middle School. I answered on the first ring. Josh Taylor. A pause. Mr. Taylor, said the voice on the other end. It was Ms. Delgado, the assistant principal. I recognized her tone immediately. Calm, clipped, rehearsed concern. The kind they use when a kid breaks an arm or gets caught vaping behind the gym. There's been an incident. My stomach dropped. Are they okay? They're not hurt. Not seriously. But both girls were involved in separate altercations before first period. We need you to come in. I didn't even put on shoes. Just grabbed my keys and left, still in the hoodie I slept in. When I got to the school, the nurse's office was quiet. Fluorescent lights. A poster about kindness curling at the corners. The smell of antiseptic and kids who'd been crying. Maddie was on one cot, ice pack pressed against her cheek. Liv sat across from her, arms crossed, a bandage on her knuckles. They didn't look at me. Ms. Delgado cleared her throat. They both got into fights. Separate ones. Unprovoked, according to the teachers. Highly unusual, especially for them. I looked at my daughters. What happened? Silence. Ms. Delgado answered for them. Apparently, students were circulating a video online. One that includes your wife. I closed my eyes. Of course. Some of the other kids made comments, she continued. Names were called. Maddie reacted first. She punched a boy in the hallway. Liv got into it with a girl who called you a public joke. Her words. Maddie still wouldn't meet my gaze, but her lip curled slightly. He called Mom a stream slut. And he said you were too pathetic to leave her, Liv added. That one hit harder than it should have. Ms. Delgado sighed. We're required to assign disciplinary action. 3-day suspension each. I've already contacted your wife. She hasn't responded. Of course she hasn't, I muttered. I signed the paperwork. Took the girls by the hand, something I hadn't done since they were 8, and walked them out of the building. None of us spoke until we were halfway home. Then Maddie asked, voice small, Dad, was that really her? I nodded once. Yeah, it was. Why would she do that? Liv asked. To you. To us. I don't know, I said. I wish I did. Back home, the silence was suffocating. I made them sit at the table, opened my laptop, and played the clip, not the whole thing, just the part they were going to see anyway. The couch. The kiss. The sign in the background. They watched without flinching. When it ended, Liv whispered, so it wasn't a mistake. No, I said. It wasn't. She burned it on purpose? Maddie asked. Our whole life. She let it happen, I said carefully. And that's just as bad. They didn't cry. That was the part that got me. They just nodded, stood up, and went to their room. I heard the door close. Heard the soft thud of Maddie throwing something against the wall. I sat alone at the kitchen table, staring at the screen, trying to remember what normal used to feel like. An hour later, Amber finally called. I didn't want to answer, but I needed to hear what kind of lie she'd try next. Josh, she started, breathless, like she'd been running. Please, don't believe everything you see online. It's being twisted. They suspended our daughters, Amber, I said calmly. Silence. They saw the video. They were taunted. Maddie fought a boy. Liv broke another girl's nose. Oh my God, she whispered. I didn't mean. No, I cut her off. You didn't think. You didn't care. I do care. No, you care that people saw it. You care that it blew up. You care that Declan hasn't called you back. That hit a nerve. I heard her breath hitch. Do you know what they called you? I asked. Do you know what they called me? Josh, please. You didn't just cheat. You didn't just lie. You humiliated us. Publicly. Globally. Our daughters will never escape this. Their faces are going to show up in search results next to that video for years. You didn't burn a piece of paper, Amber. You burned your family. She started crying then. Soft sobs. The kind that used to break me. Now they just made me feel tired. Please, she said again. I'll come home. I'll fix this. You already came home, I said flatly. Every time you lied. Every time you crawled into our bed after one of your business trips. And you still looked me in the eye. I hung up. Turned off the phone. Turned off the lights. The girls stayed in their room the rest of the day. They didn't want dinner. I didn't push them. I sat on the porch staring out at the street, trying to find something solid to hold onto. That's when our neighbor, Mrs. Lawson, came by. She didn't say anything. Just handed me a casserole dish and touched my arm. Whatever's happening, she said gently, you don't have to go through it alone. And that one kindness, that tiny human moment broke me in a way the video hadn't. Because up until then, I still felt like I was the one who failed. Now I knew. Amber made her choice. And we were the ones who had to live with it. I used to think marriages ended with yelling. Slammed doors, broken dishes, police calls in the middle of the night. Big, loud moments. But ours didn't go out like that. Ours ended in cold, calculated silence. It happened in pieces. Quiet ones. The night after the school incident, Amber tried calling again. I didn't pick up. She sent texts, some frantic, some oddly measured. We need to talk. Please don't do anything yet. I want to explain everything. The girls need their mother. Josh, I'm still your wife. I didn't reply. Not right away. Instead, I sat in the dark with a glass of scotch I didn't even remember pouring, the ice melting faster than my resolve. I stared at the framed photo on the fireplace mantel, one from our 10th anniversary. Amber was wearing that red summer dress I used to love, and I had my arms around her waist. We were smiling, sunburned from the beach, wind in our hair. Real smiles. Not for Instagram. Not for anyone else. Back then, I thought we were solid. Now I couldn't even remember what we were laughing about. That photo was the first thing I took down. By Wednesday, I lawyered up. Her name was Melanie Foster. Sharp. Calm. No nonsense. I didn't ask for sympathy. I asked for firepower. Melanie didn't blink when I showed her the footage. Just leaned back, hands steepled, and said, this is going to be fault-based. You'll want full custody. I do, I said. And the house. She nodded. Any claims for alimony? I shook my head. Let her keep whatever she earned from Declan's accommodations. I just want her gone. Melanie clicked her pen. I can work with that. That afternoon, I served Amber the papers. She wasn't home. She was still in LA, probably trying to claw her way out of the PR crater she'd created. My lawyer's process server found her at a cafe in Beverly Hills, sipping green juice, wearing oversized sunglasses like she was some kind of tragic starlet. She texted me one word. Seriously. I ignored it. That night, both sets of parents showed up. My mom brought meatloaf and a firestorm of questions. Amber's dad, Mr. Stanford, looked 10 years older than when I'd last seen him. Her mother didn't speak, just sat in our living room staring at the empty space where Amber used to hang her purse. Are you sure this is the path you want to take? Mr. Stanford asked gently. I didn't answer at first. Just looked at him, really looked. He wasn't angry. He was hollow. Like this wasn't just my marriage ending, it was his daughter becoming someone he didn't recognize. I'm not doing this, I said. She did. He nodded slowly. I get it. I just thought you two would make it. So did I. Amber called later that night. I answered this time not to give her a chance, but to give her closure. I got the papers, she said, voice flat. I figured. I didn't want this to be the way it ended. You should have thought of that before letting our marriage certificate become a centerpiece at a party. A pause. Then I didn't know it would blow up like this. It was supposed to be private. That laugh again. That dead, joyless laugh I developed in the past week. You made out with a celebrity on a public live stream while your daughters were alive and sentient. What part of that sounds private to you? I made a mistake, Josh. No. A mistake is forgetting to pick up the milk. You made a choice. Over and over. And now I'm making mine. You're really going through with this? She asked. No counseling? No separation trial? Nothing? There's nothing to separate, I said. You already burned it. The next few days were a blur of legal meetings, asset inventories, custody evaluations. Melanie worked fast, said the video was practically a gift. Not only does it show infidelity, she said, but it also displays a willful disregard for family reputation and the psychological safety of the children. In other words, Amber didn't just cheat, she detonated. The girls stayed quiet through most of it. Maddie wrote in her sketchbook obsessively, page after page of jagged lines and sad eyes. Liv started sleeping in my bed again. Like she used to when she had nightmares as a kid. Can I stay here until everything feels normal? She asked. Of course, I said. As long as you need. By the following Friday, we were in court. Amber showed up late. Wore a modest navy blazer, no makeup, hair pulled back. Trying to signal contrition. Her lawyer tried to argue for joint custody, suggested mediation. Melanie shut it down before the second sentence. The judge reviewed the footage. Reviewed the timeline. Reviewed the impact statements from both girls' guidance counselors. Amber didn't contest. When the final decree was read, the courtroom felt colder than it should have. Like all the oxygen had been *ket out. I walked out of there with full custody, the house, and an ache I couldn't name. Amber didn't look at me. She just gathered her things and left. We didn't speak. Later that evening, back at the house, I opened the drawer where I kept important papers. Found the original marriage certificate, the one she hadn't taken. The real one. I stared at it for a long time. Not out of nostalgia. Not even out of sadness. Just trying to remember what it felt like to believe it meant something. Then I went to the fireplace. Lit a match. Held it to the corner of the paper. Watched it curl and catch. The flames didn't roar. They whispered. Soft and hungry. Turning 15 years into ash in under a minute. Maddie walked in halfway through. She didn't say anything. Just stood beside me watching the paper crumble. When it was gone, she asked, "Are we free now?" And I said, "We're getting there." I didn't plan to drive by Declan's neighborhood. It just happened. Maybe I needed to see the man who cracked my life open. His street was too polished, too perfect. Then I saw Mr. Stanford, Amber's father, parked across from a basketball court. That threw me. Declan came out of a townhouse, casually bouncing a ball. I was about to drive away when it rolled into the road. Declan jogged after it. Then a car horn. Sharp. Startling. He turned just as a delivery truck barreled through the intersection. The impact was instant. Screams. Sirens. Chaos. I looked over at Mr. Stanford's car. He pulled away slow, no rush. No emotion. I don't know if he caused it. No proof. Just silence and implication. Declan was gone. It wasn't closure. It was a blank page where vengeance could have gone, but didn't. I didn't feel better. Just hollow. 2 weeks later, the court signed the final decree. Divorce granted, fault-based adultery. Full custody. No spousal support. Amber didn't argue. Didn't cry. She just nodded like someone accepting a job transfer. The house was quiet that night. I waited until the girls were asleep, then pulled out the second copy of our marriage certificate, the one I kept hidden. The real one. I placed it in the fireplace, struck a match, and watched it burn. No fanfare. No music swelling. Just silence. Ash curled into the flue like smoke from a memory. I didn't feel free. But I felt real. Honest. Raw. I turned from the fire and went upstairs to check on the girls. They were safe, asleep, home. And I knew somehow we'd be okay. Not perfect. But okay.